Hi, John.
Hi, Sylvie.
How are you today?
I'm all right. How about you?
Good, good, good. It has been a kind of difficult year, but here we are again, and we came. I mean, make it to this gala again. So, John, last year you gave us a great presentation about the project that you had for the Beljanski Foundation for 2020. And then COVID hit. And what happened? Were you able to get anything achieved this year despite the shutdown of the laboratories?
Yes, indeed. Let me begin by summarizing our studies with the the 4T blend called OncoT. Uh, Dr. Chan at Kansas University was able to test these against multiple different cancer cell lines. And let me just backtrack and tell you a little bit about how we arrived at this particular blend of Ts. It's composed of 4Ts. All four were subjected to Beljanski's Onco test, and they came away with stellar results as anti-cancer extracts. And that means that they bind to the damaged DNA in cancer cells. They don't interfere with healthy DNA, normal DNA, but the cancer cell DNA is their target. They bind, they prevent DNA replication, and in cells, that means the cell dies because the process of cell division is stalled out.
You
Well,
tested them against what kind of cancer cells?
the first experiment was against breast cancer cells. And when compared to several other Ts that are popular, the OncoT blend was by far the best. It inhibited breast cancer cell growth very effectively. And it's noteworthy that it worked just as well for one cancer cell line as it did for a more aggressive metastatic cell line. So the actual stage of the cancer didn't seem to matter much. The OncoT blend was effective against those breast cancer cells. We then had Dr. Chen go ahead and test several other types of cancer cells. First, liver cancer, and then bladder cancer. And again, the result was positive. The OncoT was effective at killing these cancer cells. And here we're using an extract of the T exposed to the cancer cells, and we get the desired result of killing off the cancer cells. And then finally, Dr. Chen, to complete this study, which you can see in the first slide is published, we looked at melanoma cells. And melanoma is a keen interest of ours. It's one of our it's a focus for us now. And as we saw in the previous experiments I just described, the OncoT blend was effective against 4 different melanoma cancer cell lines.
So you are saying that during this pandemic, you got a new paper published saying that our little oncoti is working on different kinds of cancer cell lines, breast cancer, liver, bladder, melanoma, and you got all that published.
That's exactly right. And we're lucky. This experiment had already been starting when I first spoke about it last year. So we were able to get the study done before COVID really hit. The
Okay,
time was good for us there.
okay. And then you got it published, which is great.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So what where are we going now this year with the foundation and our research program?
Well, one thing I want to say is that there's no need, we believe, to continue looking at additional cancer cells with the Ts. It works. And one of the benefits of this onco test and the kind of agents it recognizes as anti-cancer is that they're broad spectrum. And this holds true for the Pau Pereira plant extract, the Revolvia vomitoria plant extract. They also kill cancer cells. And the OncoT blend isn't quite as effective as those 2 plant extracts are, but it shares the broad spectrum of activity. So they all 3 have that. And we feel that that job is done with the tea. We've shown what we can show. So the new experiments now are focused on melanoma, and more specifically, the potential beneficial effects of the yellow leaf ginkgo extract for an anti-melanoma effect. And I need to emphasize that here, the effect is not killing the cancer cells. The yellow leaf ginkgo extract is not especially toxic to cancer cells. It doesn't play the role of these other extracts I've just described that pass the onco test with flying colors, but it can have a completely independent, indirect, but nevertheless very powerful anti-melanoma effect. Now you can say, well, what is that? What can we do? And what we know from Mirko Beljanski's work is that the yellow leaf ginkgo extract suppresses and inhibits the activity of a whole family of enzymes that are released by melanoma cancer cells. And these are specifically RNases. They are enzymes that chop up or process RNA into different fragments, each which may have a different activity. So these are powerful kinds of enzymes that are overexpressed and secreted by melanoma cancer cells. The ability of the ginkgo extract to inhibit these is what we're focused on. The reason why? One of these RNases, and there are many that are secreted, at least 15, and it could be quite a few more. So we can see a broad effect, almost a mass effect, if you will, of the ginkgo extract against the activity of all these enzymes. But what we need to know is whether or not we are inhibiting a specific enzyme called angiogenin. That's an enzyme.
Can you tell us exactly what is angiogenin?
Yes, indeed. It's one of these RNases that serves to stimulate a recruitment of new blood vessels to a tumor. So it's dastardly. The tumor sends out this signal, if you will, which is an RNase. It's called angiogenin, but angiogenesis is the process of new blood supply being generated for the tumor.
So in other words, instead of killing the cancer cell directly, you are starving it by preventing it to access the blood supply it needs to grow and flourish in a nice little nasty tumor.
That's exactly right. And I want to emphasize that at this stage, we know that the ginkgo extract has this effect on the whole family of secreted RNases. But the next step is to determine specifically that it inhibits angiogenin itself. We need to know that. And that's the proposal for our next research, to nail down that result.
Is there currently on the market a lot of products that do that to starve the cancer cell from its blood supply?
The answer is no. And I spoke with Dr. Chen yesterday about this, and I said, what is out there? Is there anything out there that can inhibit angiogenin, certainly without being toxic? And she said, not that she knows of, there's nothing. But I also want to say that this is a major goal of cancer therapy. What you alluded to is this indirect, this non-killing, but still highly effective way to interfere with cancer cell growth is what
Excuse me, but starving is a way to kill.
Well, we have to wait and do the experiment, because if you starve it, it'll still be there, but it can't grow as fast. That's the key.
Okay.
You're slowing growth.
So it's not going to die from starvation.
We don't know. There may be a tumor shrinkage effect. We'd have to do the animal studies to show that.
Okay.
First, we need to know that angiogenin is a target of the ginkgo extract inhibition.
And this ginkgo extract can be taken in addition to the other compounds like the PAO or the teas that you just mentioned, which have a direct anti-cancer effect, right?
Absolutely.
So it's a way to surround the cancer cells and from different angles and get them to surrender.
Exactly. And so I think you're quite right. There's a tremendous opportunity for synergy there because the Powell and Revolvia plant extracts are killing the cancer cells, but the ginkgo extract could be there to prevent new blood supply that would enable the cancer to progress and grow.
And you mentioned specifically melanoma. So that's your new target?
Yes, it is. And I think it's fair to say we're interested in it partly because it's on the rise. It's a serious problem. I think we have all heard in the news that melanoma is not just a serious cancer. If it's not caught early, it's deadly. But there's more and more of it for a variety of reasons, including environmental. But our interest also comes from history. And when your father discovered the inhibitory effect of the ginkgo extract on RNases, it was in the context of skin fibrosis. He discovered that irradiated skin, say for radiotherapy, the tissue that the radiation passes through is damaged and becomes fibrotic. He found that those skin cells that are fibrotic are releasing these enzymes. He later went on to find that these enzymes were released by melanoma cells. So the pathology is shared by skin fibrosis and skin cancer, specifically melanoma. And we have since come to learn that there are other types of cancers that release these RNases. So breast cancer, pancreatic cancer, and leukemia, for example.
So you are saying that we are studying melanoma, but eventually, if all goes well, it could benefit to other kind of cancer cells.
Absolutely. Melanoma isn't the only kind of cancer that needs new blood to thrive. So I think it's going to have, if not complete, at least broad applicability to different kinds of cancer.
So, sounds good. And do you have a price tag, if I may ask, for this?
Of course I do.
Project?
Of course. Yes, for this next phase, nailing down the specific RNases that are inhibited, we can do that with Dr. Chen, who discussed this project.
Dr. Chen is Kansas University Medical Center, right?
Exactly right. And those of us who know our work know that we've worked with her in collaboration over the years on quite a few projects, including pancreatic cancer, ovarian cancer, and the respective cancer stem cells. I should add that Dr. Chen herself is very interested in this angiogenin and RNase inhibition project. And we've worked out a budget for this step, which is $16,500.
Okay, well, we'll try to read that because looks like a great project. And thank you, John, for always bringing new leadership, renewed leadership to the foundation in those very difficult times we are going through. I believe the world is sick and we need more and more of natural cancer cures to continue to thrive in this difficult world.
Thank you, Sylvie. I think if this works out, as we hope, it's a major breakthrough in cancer therapy because we have a plant extract, non-toxic, that can interfere with one of the central strategies of these cancers, which is to enable growth with new blood supply.
Excellent. Looking forward to hearing about it next year.
I'm looking forward to that as well.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
Thank you.